Hey, welcome back. Wherever you are right now, whatever kind of day you are having, I am glad you are here. This is your quiet space, your slow corner of the day where there is no rush and no pressure to be anything other than exactly who you are. And today's topic, well, it is one that I think a lot of people need to hear, and a lot of people will recognize deeply.
Curious, what's the topic?
Comparison. The habit of looking at someone else's life and measuring your own against it, and feeling smaller every time.
Oh, yes, I know this one personally.
Tell me.
So, I was on my phone last week, just scrolling, and I saw someone from my school days, someone I had not thought about in years, and he had just bought a beautiful apartment, big windows, plants everywhere, looked like a magazine. And I sat there in my very ordinary room and I thought, what am I doing with my life?
And what were you doing before you opened that app?
Honestly, I was having a pretty good evening. I had finished some work I was proud of, I had eaten a nice dinner, I was relaxed, and then 30 seconds of scrolling completely undid all of it.
That is the damage of comparison in its purest form. You had something good, and comparison took it from you, without adding anything in return. Today, we are talking about why this happens, what it costs us, and how to find your way back to your own life. I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo. If you have ever scrolled yourself out of a perfectly good mood, this one is for you. Please subscribe to World English Podcast and share this with someone who needs it today. Let's go.
Let's start with something important. Comparison is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness or insecurity. It is actually a fundamental human behavior wired into us through evolution.
So comparing myself to others is natural?
Very natural. Our ancestors survived by understanding their position within a group. Who is stronger, who has more resources, who is gaining status, and who is losing it. Those who could read social comparison accurately made better decisions and survived longer. The comparison instinct kept people alive.
So my brain is doing something ancient when I look at someone's apartment and feel bad about mine.
Yes, your brain is performing a social comparison and deciding that you are in a lower position, which would have felt dangerous to your ancestors, which is why it feels so uncomfortable. Your nervous system treats social comparison loss like a threat.
But in real life, someone having a nicer apartment is not actually a threat to me.
Not logically, but your brain does not always know the difference between a real threat and a perceived one, especially when you are scrolling through hundreds of carefully curated images designed to trigger exactly this response. Social media is comparison on an industrial scale. Your ancestors compared themselves to maybe 100 people in their entire village. You compare yourself to thousands of people before breakfast.
Thousands of people before breakfast. When you say it like that, it sounds genuinely overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, and the thing that makes it worse is that you are almost never comparing fairly. You are comparing your ordinary life, your quiet Tuesday evenings, your small struggles, your unfinished projects, to someone else's highlight, their best angle, their curated moment, their performance of success.
Their highlight reel versus my behind the scenes.
That is exactly it. And no one ever posts their bad days, their doubts, their messy rooms, their 3 a.m. worries. So the picture you're comparing to is not even real. It's a performance, and you're measuring reality against a performance. Let's talk about the real cost of comparison. Because most people know comparison feels bad, but I don't think most people realize just how much it takes from them.
What does it take beyond the obvious bad feeling?
Cost 1, it steals your present moment. The way Leo's good evening disappeared the moment he opened his phone. Comparison pulls you out of your actual life and into an imaginary race. And while you are watching the race, your life keeps moving. Moments pass, small joys go unnoticed. The good things you already have stop feeling like enough.
And the funny thing is, the race is imaginary. The person you are comparing yourself to is not racing you. They do not even know you exist in this context.
Exactly. You entered a competition the other person never signed up for, and you are the only one who can lose it. Cost 2, comparison corrupts your motivation. There are two types of motivation comparison can create: inspirational comparison, seeing someone's achievement and feeling energized to work harder toward your own goals, and deflating comparison, seeing someone's achievement and feeling like your own efforts are pointless.
Curious, how do you know which one you are experiencing?
Ask yourself one question after you compare. Do I feel more energized or less energized to work on my own life right now? If more, the comparison is serving you. If less, it is costing you. Most comparison on social media produces the second kind because it's not curated for your inspiration, it is curated for engagement. And the emotions that drive engagement are often envy, inadequacy, and longing.
Cost 3?
Cost 3, it disconnects you from your own values and path. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you start to want what they have instead of what you actually need. You start chasing the apartment in the photos instead of building the life that is right for you. You start optimizing for looking successful rather than feeling fulfilled. And those two things are often very different destinations.
I've spent time wanting things I did not actually want. I wanted them because other people seemed to have them and seem happy. And when I got similar things, they did not feel the way I expected.
Because they were never yours to want. They belonged to someone else's story, and you were trying to live someone else's story in your own life. Okay, 5 ways to reclaim your peace from comparison. These are not about never comparing again, because that is not realistic. They are about changing your relationship with comparison, so it loses its power over your peace.
Let's hear them.
Way 1. Compare yourself to yesterday's version of you, not to anyone else. This is the only comparison that is actually useful. Am I a little better today than I was last week? Do I understand something now that I did not understand a month ago? Have I grown in any direction since this time last year? This comparison has clear data because you know yourself, and it produces motivation instead of deflation.
Because I am always ahead of my past self. There is always growth somewhere.
Always. Even in difficult periods, you learned something, you survived something, you became more patient or more humble or more clear about what you actually want. Yesterday's version of you is the only fair comparison partner you have. Okay, way 2. Curate your input deliberately. You cannot control your comparison instinct, but you can control what triggers it. If certain accounts or people consistently make you feel worse about your life, unfollow them. Not with anger, just with self-respect.
But what if they are people I know, friends or colleagues?
Then mute their posts. On most platforms, you can mute someone without unfollowing them. They never know. You stop seeing the content that hurts you, and your friendship continues offline, in real life, where comparison is much less intense.
So, curating my social media feed is actually an act of mental health care.
One of the most underrated ones. Your attention is limited and precious. Choose carefully what you feed it. Content that inspires you, teaches you, makes you laugh, or connects you to things you love, keep it. Content that consistently leaves you feeling smaller, let it go. Way 3. Practice gratitude for what is already yours. I know gratitude sounds like a cliche, but the reason it appears everywhere is because it genuinely works, and the mechanism is interesting.
What is the mechanism?
The comparison and gratitude cannot occupy your mind at the same time. They are opposite states. Comparison says, what I have is not enough. Gratitude says, what I have is real and valuable. When you intentionally shift into gratitude, you're not denying reality. You're choosing which part of reality to focus on. And what you focus on grows larger in your perception.
So when I feel comparison rising, I can interrupt it with gratitude. Not fake gratitude, real, specific gratitude.
Real and specific. Not just, I am grateful for my health, but I am grateful for the fact that I made dinner tonight and it was exactly what I needed. I'm grateful for the conversation I had this morning that made me laugh. I'm grateful that this podcast exists and someone somewhere is listening. Specific gratitude is much more powerful than general gratitude. Way 4. Remember that you're seeing a fraction of someone else's life. When comparison strikes, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what don't I know about this person's life?
What do you mean?
The person with the beautiful apartment, what is their relationship like? Are they lonely? Do they sleep well? Do they feel purposeful? Do they have debt they are hiding? Are they happy when nobody is watching? You do not know. You will never know, because you're seeing one frame from a film that is hours long.
The apartment is real, but the happiness I projected onto the apartment might be completely imaginary.
Almost certainly. Research on happiness consistently shows that people overestimate how much external things, money, status, possessions, will improve their inner experience. The person in the beautiful apartment is dealing with something. Everyone is dealing with something. The difference is some struggles are visible and some are hidden, but they all exist.
Everybody is carrying something, we just can't always see the weight.
Everybody. And when you remember that, the gap between your life and theirs stops feeling so wide, because the gap you were seeing was never accurate to begin with. Way 5. Build something that is entirely yours. One of the most powerful antidotes to comparison is deep engagement with your own path. When you're genuinely absorbed in building something that matters to you, a skill, a project, a relationship, a piece of work, comparison loses most of its grip.
Why does having your own project change the comparison experience?
Because when you're deeply invested in your own journey, you stop caring so much about where others are in theirs. A gardener who is tending their own garden with full attention doesn't spend much time looking at their neighbor's garden. They're too absorbed in their own plants, their own growth, their own small daily victories.
And the absorption replaces the comparison, not by force, just naturally.
Yes, find something that pulls you in, something that makes you forget to check your phone because you're too busy growing. That's the most peaceful place to live, inside your own story, moving in your own direction with your own hands in your own soil.
I want to say something honest. I still compare sometimes, even knowing everything I just shared. The instinct does not disappear. What changes is the relationship with it.
What does a different relationship look like?
Instead of getting swallowed by it, I notice it. Oh, there is the comparison feeling. Hello, I see you. And then I ask, is this useful? Is this showing me something I genuinely want to work toward? Or is this just noise from an ancient part of my brain that cannot tell the difference between a real threat and someone's Instagram post?
Ancient brain versus Instagram post every time.
Every time. And usually, when I ask that question honestly, the answer is noise, and I can let noise pass without following it, without letting it rewrite the story of my day.
So the goal is not to never feel comparison, it is to not let it narrate your life.
You are allowed to feel it. You do not have to believe it. Feelings are visitors. They arrive, they move through, and they leave. The problem is when we hand them the pen and let them write our story for us.
Don't hand the pen to comparison. I like that.
Vocabulary tour. 8 words from today, all useful for talking about feelings, peace, and self-awareness. Word 1. Curate. To carefully select and organize things. Here, choosing what content and influences you allow into your life.
Example, she curated her social media feed to include only content that inspired her. Or, curating your input is one of the most important things you can do for your mental peace.
Word 2. Deflating. Making something feel smaller, less important, or less worthwhile.
Example, constant comparison has a deflating effect on your motivation. Or, his deflating comment made her question everything she had worked for.
Word 3. Perceived. Something that is experienced or interpreted, not necessarily objectively real.
Example, the threat comparison creates is perceived, not real. Or her perceived failure was actually just a minor setback to everyone else.
Word 4. Fulfillment. A deep feeling of satisfaction and meaning when your life aligns with your values.
Example, looking successful and feeling fulfilled are often very different things. Or, she found fulfillment not in status, but in the work that felt meaningful to her.
Word 5. Inadequacy. The feeling of not being good enough, not meeting a standard, real or imagined.
Example, social media is designed to trigger feelings of inadequacy, or his sense of inadequacy was not based on truth, it was based on unfair comparison.
Word 6. Antidote. The cure or solution to something harmful.
Example, deep engagement in your own work is a powerful antidote to comparison, or gratitude is the antidote to the feeling that what you have is never enough.
Word 7. Perception. The way you see and interpret something, your mental image of reality.
Example, what you focus on grows larger in your perception, or gratitude shifts your perception from what is missing to what is already present.
Word 8. Narrate. To tell a story. Here, to shape the interpretation of what is happening in your life.
Example, do not let comparison narrate your life, or the stories we tell ourselves narrate our experience more powerfully than the facts themselves.
Action steps. 5 things to try this week. Step 1. The next time comparison hits, ask one question. Is this comparison energizing me or deflating me? If deflating, notice it, name it, and let it pass without following it.
Step 2. This week, look at your social media and find one account that consistently makes you feel worse about yourself. Mute it or unfollow it, quietly, with self-respect.
Step 3. Each evening this week, write one specific thing you are genuinely grateful for. Not general, specific. Something that happened today that was real and good, however small.
Step 4. Spend 10 minutes this week thinking about what you are building, your own project, your own path, your own growth. Write down one small step you took recently that belongs entirely to your own story.
Step 5. Write in the comments today. What is one area of your life where comparison makes you feel small? Saying it takes away some of its power, and someone reading your comments will feel less alone. Quick recap. Comparison is natural, wired into us from ancient times, but today it is happening at a scale our brains were never designed for. It steals your present moment, corrupts your motivation, and disconnects you from your own path. The 5 ways back to peace: compare yourself only to yesterday's you, curate your input deliberately, practice specific gratitude, remember you are seeing a fraction of someone else's life, and build something that is entirely yours.
And remember, you are allowed to feel comparison. You just do not have to hand it the pen.
If this felt like a gentle and honest conversation today, please subscribe to World English Podcast, share it with someone who needs a reminder that their life is enough, and come back next week. We'll be here. Same quiet pace, new conversation.
This was World English Podcast, and I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia. Until next time, stay in your own garden, tend your own growth, and trust that your story, at exactly the pace it is moving, is enough.
Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves.